Hey there, happy day 20 of our Get Up and Go challenge. Halfway point, today's the halfway point of our challenge. I always get excited on the halfway point of anything. Whenever I set a goal or an objective or a challenge, or whenever I say I'm going to do something, I go to the halfway point, and then I actually gain more momentum because it's like, it feels like work up to the halfway point a little bit psychologically, and then I know that once you get over that little hump, it's kind of like Wednesday, right, of the work week. You work, and then after Wednesday, you're like, oh, there's only a couple more days of the work week left. That's how I used to feel in corporate America. Don't feel that way now because I do things 7 days a week. I like what I do, and when you love what you do it every day happily. So I actually learned that strategy, and I adopted that. Get to the halfway point, and then you get momentum knowing that and telling yourself that, hey, I'm over halfway there, so I'm not going to quit. Hey, I'm over halfway there on my walk. So guess what? My car is back halfway from where I am. So the only way I'm getting out of this is if I complete my whole walk, because I go halfway out and then I turn around at the halfway point and I come back. Well, once I'm at the halfway point, it's like building up to and getting momentum and effort till I get the halfway point. And that's like going down a hill, the roller coaster. You know, it's downhill because you're going back and getting closer and closer and closer to your objective, which was for me on walks to get back to the car so I could drive home from the park every single day. So that's kind of my thing about action and goals. I love that halfway point. And I want us to celebrate day 20. If you're hanging out with me still on day 20, geez, just give yourself a pat on the back and say, oh my God, I've been doing this every day. I've been at least showing up and listening to the video. Whether you've been taking action or not, that's entirely up to you. I have really no way of knowing. You know, I don't have spy cameras in the universe where I can see what everybody's doing. But be excited about the halfway point. And if that works for you, adopt that strategy, set a goal, and then work really hard to get to the halfway point, knowing that once you're halfway there, you're not going to quit, right? And I used to set it up so that I had to succeed. There was no way, you know, how was I going to get back to my car if I didn't continue my walk, if I didn't continue my exercise? And if we set things up like that so that we have to succeed, guess what? Success is inevitable. And so that's what I love about the SOAP model. It sets you up so that you will overcome any challenge that you're faced with ever. Once it becomes a part of your being and it's automatic, like it is for me now. I actually had to think and sit down and say, okay, what do I actually do to solve challenges? Before I started teaching people how to do challenges and how to overcome challenges and how to make massive changes in their life, because I was just doing it automatically. Once I figured out what worked, I just kept doing that. And that's what this challenge is all about. Equipping you with the tools, the main tool, to know that on a subconscious level, you're always going to just automatically do the right thing for yourself in the way that you handle challenges, the way that you handle change, the way that you handle anything that you want to change or that challenges you. Whether it's an emotion, whether it's an event, whether it's a job loss, whether it's a pandemic, whatever it is, you'll be equipped to deal with it. So today is the A, and A in SOAP stands for action. This is our third time through this, so I think you're probably not surprised by that by now. But what does action have to do with anything? Yesterday we brainstormed a list of, I brainstormed a list of all the things that I could do about my relationship with myself. And I had I think 56 things on there, which isn't great, but it's a pretty good list, right? Now I have a list ready that I can go to and I can look at, and I can pick one of 56 things whenever I want to work on my relationship with myself. So today, how do we decide what of those 56 things that I'm going to do, that I'm going to take action on? We talked last time about let me grab that model, the motivation, mindset, and methods way of analyzing or looking at alternatives. I don't remember if I've talked about the plus or minus is always a good one. And I like to say, there's a couple things we want to consider. I'm thinking about the journalistic, I hate to use the journalistic framework now, but it's served me really well throughout my life. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. When I'm talking about action, when we're looking at taking action, it answers several of those questions, right? What are we going to do? When are we going to do it? And then how are we going to do it? Because as much as we don't want to think about the how, and actually as soon as we decide what we're going to do and when we're going to do it, the how will start to automatically show up. It's a crazy thing about the world and the universe, but it does. Have you ever done that where you weren't sure what to do, but you've made a decision, and as soon as you made a decision, how to make that thing happen that you wanted. Just different ideas start flowing in at you, and then all of a sudden you knew exactly what to do. Guess what? We always know what to do. We just don't believe it, or we just don't trust ourselves enough to know that we know what we need to do at any given time. But the truth is, I've learned this a lot through coaching other people, that they always know what to do. And then I realized, well, if they always know what to do, maybe I always know what to do too. And the truth is, I do always know what to do. I don't always want to do it, because sometimes the things we have to do in our life aren't comfortable. Sometimes the things we have to do in our life are challenging. And usually it's they're not comfortable because we're afraid of something, right? We're afraid of other people's reaction. We're afraid of how people will view us or what they'll think of us. We're afraid of our own emotional fragility, whether we'll feel bad if something doesn't work out, if we try and we fail. Human beings, we love to try things, but we want to be certain that all the things that we try are going to be successful. Guess what? The one thing you can be certain of, all the things that you try are not going to be successful. They're not. They're just not. We're going to fail in our lives many, many more times than we ever succeed. But guess what? It only takes that one time of succeeding to move us in the direction we want to go. So we can try 10 times and have it all be, maybe one step forward, 2 steps back. It doesn't matter, because eventually we'll hit the thing that will help us succeed. And my objective is to find the thing that will help me succeed faster as I go through life and learn, so that I don't have to have 10 trials or 100 trials before I figure out the thing that works for me. And that's the truth is, there's nobody that can do this for you. Nobody knows exactly what is in your best interest except you. So, action. Action, the cool thing about action is action trumps fear. Action beats out fear every time. I listened to and participated in an online virtual event for one of my friends, Heather Ann Havenwood, yesterday. She was doing an event at Chad Thibodeau's mansion in Arizona. Well, I'm in Wisconsin and not traveling to Arizona during a pandemic. It's still pandemic in my mind, right? So I'm going to be careful. I'm going to do what's right for me and my family. Everybody else can do what's right for them, but I'm going to continue to do what's right for me. That means I'm not traveling to Arizona for a one-day event. But we could participate virtually. So I hopped on that while I was hanging out with my granddaughter and really, really enjoyed it, because Heather did a video after that just late last night. I just saw it this morning about how afraid she was to do that event. That was her first one-woman virtual all-day event, and live all-day event. And all of the fears that all of us have underneath, the I'm not good enough, who am I to talk, nobody's going to show up. It's amazing. Every human being on the planet goes through that before they do anything. We all go through that series of emotions and doubts and fears and worries before we do anything. But it's the doing it in spite of the fear. It's having courage, knowing that the fear is there, and chances are the things we fear aren't real, right? She did an awesome job. She did an amazing job in her one-day event. Really, really exciting. And I learned and took my notebooks upstairs, but I took a notebook like this, lots of pages of it full of notes just from her event. And it goes to show you that all of us have so much to give other people, but we also have those fears. But action, taking action, doing it, making a decision and a commitment to say, this is my line in the sand. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. This is going to move me in the direction that I want to go. I know I'm scared to death to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. And guess what? You do it, and it's scary at first, but as you get moving and as you start doing it, it gets less and less and less scary. And then all of a sudden, you're awesome at it, and you're an expert at it, and people are looking at you to teach them how you did it, and you're like, oh my God, all I did was make a decision, committed to myself I was going to do it, and that I was going to figure it out no matter what, and voila, I made it happen. And that's what Heather did. It was a great example yesterday of how action trumps fear. Sometimes we think it's just us that are afraid, and then it's really, I really appreciate her sharing that, because I watched her event. I would not have suspected that she was afraid to do it, that she had a hard time deciding and committing to do the one-day event. I wouldn't have guessed that. Because she's this badass businesswoman, and I've known her over a decade, and I never would have expected that she felt that way. And I guess everybody does at some point in some time in our lives. So action trumps fear. Today, from our list yesterday, we're going to pick our action item today is to pick one thing from that list and do it. And we're going to do it today. The sooner today you can do it, the better. I learned this, and I'm sure I learned it before Tony Robbins, but Tony Robbins is the one that I remember really reinforcing this for me. Never leave the scene of a decision without taking action. And he said that, and that got hammered into my subconscious, that as soon as you decide and commit to something that you're going to do, immediately take some sort of action toward it. So as I'm brainstorming yesterday, of course, I already was thinking ahead in the process, what can I do? Which is why I decided to do Heather's virtual event, why I signed up to do her event anyway. And she offered me a free ticket, but I couldn't figure out how to do it free, so I paid for it, and it was totally worth it. I mean, would have been worth, 10 times the amount. But the point was, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I just said yes. Yes, I'll do this. Yes, I'll go to this virtual event. So I take action immediately. I don't even wait till the day that we're talking about the soap to actually be going through this process, because like I said, it's already become automatic for me. So if I see something in my financial life, if I see something in my physical life that I know I need to do right now, I just do it right now, right? I just automatically take action, because the only time we can act is in the present moment, right? I can't act and change anything in the past. I can't act in the future. I can say, oh, I'm going to do this in the future, but that's called procrastination, which I am an expert at. So that doesn't work. I know, and we need to act right now. So today we're going to pick one thing from our list and we're going to take action on it. Here's my way of picking something from the list. In the absence of wanting to do a great big problem-solving, decision-making process on the list to decide what I'm going to do. And I'll tell you what, when it's something I don't want to do and I'm procrastinating, the more I'm procrastinating and resisting doing something to move me in the direction I want to go, the more I will resort to using more complicated decision-making tools, right? If there's something that I really don't want to do, or I can't decide between alternatives because I'm resisting doing it, then I have to pull out the big guns. And to me, tools are big guns, the things to help me to convince myself that I need to do what I already know I need to do. But normally, like with 56 things, I just look at that list and my brain starts evaluating them, and it's usually, what can I do right now? And sometimes it's, what do I need to do to get me the biggest impact? I think we talked about that last time through the A as we were talking about finances. But other times it's, what can I do with the least resistance right now? Because I know that, like that walking to the halfway point, if I do a couple little things and get a few little wins early on, that helps to build momentum. That helps me to get to that halfway point. So do what you gotta do to strategize with yourself to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success. So often we set ourselves up for failure and not success. We don't set ourselves up to win. Guess what? We're making the rules for our own life. We're making the rules for our own game. So why would we not? And I learned this from my granddaughter. She sets every game up, and she just turned 5, so it's really fun. But ever since she was like 2, I'm thinking of a drive home from the cabin with my sisters where she was making up a game. She's 3, she's making up a game and telling us all the rules. And she's setting it up to win. As a kid, as a little kid, we set everything up to win. When do we stop doing that? So set yourself up for success. Set yourself up to win. Set yourself up to create the life that you want. And we do that by taking action. So today, one item on your list, one action item that you're going to do. Share that in the comments below so that we can get some ideas of the action we can take too. Again, remember, it doesn't matter how big or how small or what anyone else thinks of it. It's, what is the action that is right for you right now? What is the action that's right for me right now? It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Maybe my action is just to go Google something. Ask a question on Google. How do I improve my relationship with myself? That is taking action. Or just calling and having a conversation with a friend. I would love to call and talk to Heather, and I probably will this next week, about her experience, because I was blown away about how she was afraid to take action, yet she did it. She drew the line in the sand and did it anyway. So that was very inspirational for me, and I hope it's inspirational for you as well. Go out, have an absolutely awesome day. Get up and go. Go get this done. Go take some action right now, and then share in the comments below. Again, remember, it doesn't matter if the action works or not. the important point is you made a decision and you took action. Make a decision, take action. All right, have an awesome day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow to talk about the P. P is one of my favorites. Of course, I like all of them, SOAP, but P is really important for your future. All right, have a great day.